There we go.
I got a nice one already.
I couldn't use it.
Do we pretend like we're talking?
No, they're just off the show.
Yeah, it's not even coffee.
Don't be hurting yourself. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, John. All right, well, anyway, we got John, Upstate Road Control. Welcome to Derby for the, you've been here a few times.
Yeah, that's, I think, my third or fourth trip.
You're a frequent traveler here.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I feel bad because I haven't been over to visit you.
I was thinking about that on my way up here. I'm like, you know what? It's about time somebody starts driving.
I know. Well, you get an 850J dozer and a DL550 with a Fecon head and a few other cool toys, and I'll start mentioning your way. No, in all seriousness, I do feel bad. You're a little bit southeast of Chris?
Yes, yeah. Chris is on the east coast of North Carolina. I'm on the west side.
Yeah, I went to Chris's a few times and tried to make, because basically I have to make a southern loop to catch you, which wouldn't be too far out of the way, but there's just, oh my goodness, times and schedules just having a line. So,
and when you're out, getting stuff, buying buses and.
We are not talking about the bus in the background. That is just. We'll talk about that.
I've been giving him a hard time about it, so.
No, it's not my bus. We're just gonna leave it.
Sure. It's in your shop, though.
John.
All right, sorry. I'm done.
Well, first off, a little bit for people who don't know, you're a YouTuber.
Yes.
That's how you and I met. How long have you been doing it?
We started right around the same time.
So 4 going on 5 years.
Yeah.
You've had pretty good success with it as well.
Yep.
I don't know. I found you fairly early, I believe. I think you were 16,000, 17,000 subscribers.
Somewhere right in there when I was actually a little bit above you,
Really?
I think you were in the, when I think you commented on one of my videos, like, oh, what kind of camera do you use? And I was like, just use my phone. I'm like, who's this guy? And I'd actually seen you in one of Walter Wade's videos.
Oh boy.
And you guys were working on something up here.
That was Jason Appleton's claim. Where Jason works a lot, he's usually my co-host on the podcast. That was his claim to fame, is he was bigger than me at one time.
I was for about a day, maybe 2 days. Like, holy smokes, this guy is just.
I don't remember how I got. It's been so long ago. We've been friends for a couple of years now. I don't remember all the details how I stumbled across you, but I remember somebody may have suggested you to me, and I thought you were using your phone because whenever I started off, that's all I used was my phone. That's how I got started.
Same thing.
And you can do a lot with a phone. You got to get a little bit more creative, but you can do a lot with it. So, I guess tell us a little bit about yourself. You are in the primary business is forestry mulching.
Correct.
You do a little bit of excavating from time to time. So, how'd you end up down that path?
So I grew up in construction, born and raised right in Greenville, South Carolina. My dad was a home builder.
I was another famous YouTuber from that area.
Who's that?
Think of Live 21. Welcome to the broadcast, or Toddcast.
He's in Asheville.
Asheville, yeah.
So he's about an hour away from me. But anyway, so yeah, born and raised there. My dad, he was a home builder. He went off into the hardscape world. That time I was building fences actually, self-employed. I started out working 4 years for a guy, and then I went out on my own 4 years. 2008 hit, and then me and my dad went back together doing construction. And long story short, he wanted me to go, keep pursuing, get my builder's license, keep going down that road. I wasn't burned out with it, but I wanted something different. And I came across a YouTube video of forestry mulching. I saw it, I said, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I started looking into it, researching, and I knew a guy down in the Columbia area who had one. I saw it, and I was like, that's it, that's what I want to do. So it took about 2 to 3 years for me to, I researched and found out everything I could about it, pumps and heads and machines and all this kind of stuff. And then my brother, who's in hardscapes, he needed he does interlocking paver driveways. So he needed another tracked skid steer. So we split a T300 together, Bobcat T300, with about 3,500 hours. a piece of junk.
well used.
Well used.
I had an orange one like that one time.
So we spent a lot of time working on it. In the meantime, I was renting and you know, just to get the business going. I was still working with my dad, and then yeah, just kind of worked my way up. I went slow. I took everything very slow. Didn't rush into buying anything. I bought a head first. Kept running the machine until I was established enough. Like, okay, I can justify $100,000.
Right.
You know.
Well, I don't want to get too far off base on this podcast, but I think you bring up an awesome point. Everybody, I'm sure you get the same thing too, being on YouTube. Everybody wants business advice. Like, how do I get started? How do I get here? How do I do that? And I personally, I'm curious of your opinion on this. I personally think everybody falls into the look at me problem. And the first thing they want to do is go out and buy the biggest, the best, the newest, the shiniest, all that stuff. And unfortunately, they don't have enough knowledge to know what they even need. My theory on it has always been, I think I need this. I'm going to go find something ridiculously affordable. I'm going to use a lowboy trailer for an example. Like, I think I need a detached, it's non-ground bearing with paper ramps on it, air ride, etc. That's what I think I need. Let me go find something close that's affordable. I'm going to run this thing for 2 or 3 years. After 2 or 3 years, I know exactly what I need, because now I've gained experience with that. I'm sure a mulcher and a bobcat or a skid steer or a CTL is all the same thing. So if you're wanting to go down the mulching route, for example, I think the first thing you want to do or don't want to do is go out and spend $300,000 on a setup, because you really don't know.
It's very easy to do. I've seen guys that have done it. They've been down that road and they've actually had to cut back and, you know, sell stuff. And you know, there's a lot of stuff you don't think about whenever you're getting into it. You know, if you pull anything over 10,000 pounds, you have to have a CDL. I didn't think about that. You know, like, oh, I got a big truck, it can pull whatever. You know, wait till that first officer Hoover pulls you over, and then you know, just.
And then that throws you into commercial insurance, and that throws you into this and that.
Just a lot of things that you learn as you grow, but there was nobody out there that I could lean on, like, hey, how do I do it this way? So a lot of it I figured out by myself.
Now, to that point, and nobody out there you can lean on, it is definitely, if you got a mentor or somebody you can latch on that's willing to share information with you, that is priceless. But there's some lessons you just got to learn.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, you can tell somebody, don't buy this, but they are set on buying that machine or whatever, and they're gonna figure it out real quick.
Just let them go.
Yeah.
Just let them go. So back to our original conversation. I guess you said you've seen Forestry mulching on YouTube.
Yep.
Thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Started having some success with mulching, which is still today the primary business, correct?
Yes. Primary business is still Forestry mulching.
Now, I'm going to go off in the weeds here a little bit again, but in our area where I'm at, forestry mulching is not very common at all. Pretty much the only people you see doing forestry mulching is a lot of right-of-way guys and some one-off subdivision work. Of course, we have very relaxed burn laws. We have very relaxed habitat laws as far as what we can do with brush and a lot of farm ground stuff. I don't know exactly for sure where it's at, where you're at, but there's a lot of states and a lot of areas where mulching is pretty much your only option.
We're not quite to that point, but we do have a lot of kind of absurd burning things. You can't have a fire within 1,000 feet of a road. So, I mean, a substantial fire. I mean, you can have a campfire, but you know, you can't go and, you know, clear a log off and expect to burn all the debris right there.
We'll line her up around the white line. Let's go, boys.
I wish we could do it so many times. I'm like, how does he get away with that? How do they get away with that? Like, but anyways, so
this last big fire we have that's coming up on YouTube, I think it's gonna be my video I'll post tomorrow, which it's not gonna correspond with this date, is we had the biggest fire I've ever had in my life. It was right in the middle of a burn ban. It rained the night before when they haven't officially lifted the burn ban.
But it is good. Yeah.
Well, look at this. Of course, the county fire chief lives just down the road. He stops by one day. He said, "You know we've got a burn ban." I said, "You know it rained last night." Okay. We're like in the middle of a 400-acre field, you know.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah. So a lot of what we do is, say you have our average customer is they have anywhere from an acre to 3 acres is kind of our average. They have a little bit of woods. They either have or they know somebody that has a small tractor. And the area got away from them. It got too thick, or it's something they can't do with their tractor. So we will come in and cut the brush back. And a lot of what we do is beautify them, open up for views. We do most of what we do now, that is what it is. But in the past, we cut anything from shooting lanes for hunters, to, open up walking paths, all kinds of stuff.
So mulching is good for a lot of things.
Yes.
You just named a few of them.
Yep.
If they just want to maintain it, keep it knocked down with a brush on or something.
Yep.
The mulching is also not good for a lot of
It
things.
is definitely not good.
And number one on my list is converting overgrown ground to farmland.
Yep. Can't do it.
You cannot do it. I just posted a bunch of videos. You actually helped me on a job. It was 3.5, 4 acres. We
We first off, yeah.
And everybody's like, just mulch it, just mulch it. I'm like, I'll go in there and mulch that. Farmer Chris comes through this $300,000 planter and hits one of these stumps that got left behind, or something. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Because the mulching, for the most part, especially with what you do, only takes it down to surface level.
Yep.
There's a lot more of that tree still underneath the ground.
Exactly. The tree system is still alive. Your root base and your stump is still alive. You just showed a video on resprout.
Yeah.
Resprout stump. That's from someone cutting that, and then it keeps on
Which
growing.
would be similar or comparable to mulching.
Exactly, same thing. So you still have your root system in the ground, so you cannot mulch. You can, but you have to deal with it down the road in a driveway, yard, a field, where a house site is going to be. You can do it on the outskirts, but you can mulch it, but you have to do something with that material. You have to push it off, put it in a hole, and it's actually like doing the job twice.
Right.
I mean, from excavating, it's a lot easier to grab a tree 10 feet up, rip it out.
Well, yeah, and then the tree is a connection to the root system. I yank it all out of the ground at once versus going around scratching around the
Trying
tree.
to find stumps.
And then inevitably, if the tree's sticking out of the ground, it's a flag. Hey, I'm over here.
Exactly.
Stumps, you're like, especially if you get out there scooting around with the dozer, you start dragging debris over them, they disappear really quick.
Exactly.
And then Farmer Chris finds them, and Farmer Chris ain't happy. Because he tore up an expensive piece of equipment. So,
Oh, man.
everything has its place, and I guess I'm poking a little bit of fun at some YouTube expert commenters and a lot of times people, I don't want to pick on them because they legitimately don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They see you mulching and see how good it looks on camera, and they see me over there playing in the mud plucking trees out thinking, what's this idiot doing?
Yeah.
But there is a rhyme or a reason to why we do what we can do. One, we're possibly allowed where you're not, and two, what's the purpose of land going to be after we're all said and done? So
when a customer calls me, usually one of the first questions I'll ask is, what are we doing this for? What is your end goal for this?
Right.
Are you is it gonna be yard? Is it gonna be a natural area? Then mulch it all day long. It's fast, you get results right away. You don't have to deal with any erosion problems, reseeding.
right.
It has ground cover, there's no permits required, in my area at least.
Mulching is probably one of the things that's probably, I don't want to say it's the least regulated, but it's considered to be good for the environment because you're leaving a lot of cover and you're leaving the organic matter behind. So I would say it's probably one of the least regulated excavating things done.
Yeah, we do, at one point, we've done a lot of retention ponds, and they actually like it. They like the mulch put back up on the hillsides and, that mulch back down to create cover.
Do you still have your vent track?
No, they took it back. I could have bought it, but
I always call them the little monster trucks.
dude, they I saw what's his name?
Tractor down with him?
No, sorry.
Matt?
Yes, yeah. Diesel Creek, he got one.
Yeah.
I guess he got a pretty good deal on that.
Yeah, he got a little diesel one. One of the other ones, I think it's got the turbo on it before the government got involved in the emissions.
That's a nice little unit there.
It's a good one. It's a good one for sure. So, as I'm assuming as the big business progressed down the road, I mean, at some point you decided to pick up a camera and start sharing this with the world.
So what I was actually doing is I would tell people, customers, like, hey, I'm going to forestry mulch that. Like, what in the world is forestry mulching? So I go back to YouTube and show them a picture of a similar machine and a similar cutter head that I have. I said, this is what it does, this is how it works, and this is what it's going to look like. I'm like, okay. So that's kind of how I would show my customers. And then my wife says, why don't we just take videos with your phone, then we'll put it up on YouTube, and then you can show people that.
So your actual work.
Our actual work. And it was just a thing for showing customers a before and after picture.
Sales tool.
Exactly. That's all it was. And here I am now. So.
You have no intention of becoming YouTube famous?
No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, there was no way. I mean, I was just using it for showing customers, and it was kind of there. I didn't know about, like, you can make money off of it. You can have sponsors.
We don't make any money.
No.
There's no money to be had in this business. That's a lie, in case people are wondering. So, obviously, this morphed into more than just a way to advertise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you made these videos public and they started catching some traction with people that weren't your customers, and on down the line. And we were talking here at the beginning of the podcast. We've been doing it about the same time. Man, forgive me. You 75,000-ish on subscribers.
Yeah, right under.
Right under. So you're. I mean, that's.
I'm very happy with
yeah, that's a pretty big.
Blessed. Yes,
that's a pretty big number. Pretty big number. And, you know, I always give everybody wants advice to start a channel. I encourage anybody to do it because it's easy, free, and cheap to do it. Like me and you both got started with our phones, but if you're going to do YouTube, you can't post 2 videos and make a decision on whether it's for you or not. I mean, legitimately, you need to do it for a year. And you're going to get discouraged at times, and most likely in the beginning. But if you do it for a year and stick with it, I think you'll know at the end of the year whether you're for your YouTube or YouTube's for you, however you want to say it. And there's a lot of good things that come out of YouTube. I mean,
I feel like, from my perspective of watching you, I feel like you put in a lot more into YouTube than I do. And it's paying off.
Apparently I'm just a better actor because I don't.
I feel like you do a lot more of the podcast.
I haven't even picked up a camera the whole day.
This is true, but
I mean, you've been recording since you got here. I didn't even touch my camera.
It wasn't that long. I feel like whatever you put into YouTube, it will pay off.
It's just like anything, whether it's, I mean, we can compare this to a marriage, your business, or YouTube. You get into what you put out of it. The second piece of advice I'd give to anybody on YouTube, and I personally take this as a compliment, and if you think I'm wrong, jump in here and correct me. I don't care, you're not going to hurt my feelings, but what you see on YouTube is us. We don't make stuff up. Me and Aaron bickering, and you've been around me and Aaron off camera. It's no different than what's on camera.
He's just a short in person. So.
I mean, I always tell everybody I'm not smart enough to be an actor. Like, we are legit. Like, that is us. We don't make stuff up. We don't create drama. It is what it is. If I screw up, I mean, I'll tell you all about it, but I'll tell you about it. You know, within reason. We got to keep the videos, but it's true reality TV. Would that be a good way to put it? I remember whenever Wade was on Axeman and talking to some of the producers and stuff, and this was several years ago, I guess about 4 years ago. They straight up told us that, you know, YouTube's the biggest competition now because it is true.
Really?
It is true reality TV.
Yeah.
And they recognized that, and they were trying to make it a little bit more of a serious show, which I think I heard in the innings they almost went too serious with the last season Wade was on. But I think if you're going to be on YouTube, you need to be truthful and transparent as possible about what's going on. I mean, obviously we can't share every little detail about our business. You know, a lot of people want to know what our bids are. I don't look at that bid number as my number. I feel like that number belongs to the customer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't share it because I'm particularly afraid of my competition knowing, or I'm particularly afraid of anybody else knowing. That's their money. If that customer wants to come on there and tell everybody what they pay for my services, that's their money, their business. But it's not for me to share that. It's kind of the way I look at it. That's a little bit more of the personal side of the business. I don't air my P&L and how much money I make or don't make, but I kind of give generic synopsis of what's going on and what's profitable and what's not, and why it was profitable and why it wasn't. But
It's depressing.
yeah, but it's hard to share. It's hard to be 100% transparent with that. But as far as how the job's going, did it go as planned? Did it not go as planned? You know, how did I bid it versus how did it turn out? You know, Matt does a lot of my bidding, and he's got some stuff posted on his channel about going through that. I try to share as much as I can. You know what I mean? It's and I think people appreciate that, being able to kind of know what's going on from all different aspects.
Yeah.
And I think you've got kind of similar thoughts about that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, probably my number one question is, how much did that cost? How much? My number one comment is probably that. Yeah, I'd say it's in the top 10 for sure. You know, like,
Yeah.
What was the cost of that? And then people will chime in like, he won't give out the price on it. Like,
Man, that's a tough one. It really is. I know there's other YouTubers out there that'll tell you every penny, every job, and what they charge. And
I think I like to share my videos for one, education on how to. I'm not the expert by any means on anything, mulching, grading, or anything like that. But from what I have learned, this is the best how I know to do it, and I'm sharing that. So whether it be mulching or you know going into a project and where am I going with this? I don't know. Just
well, so I'm going to take over here for a second. Let me know if I get too far off. But I've kind of one of my big things is I've been very vocal about this. Is YouTube's going to be a hobby for me.
okay.
Which sounds crazy because honestly, I will tell you this: I make more money off social media than what I do in the excavating business, and I do very well in the excavating business. But YouTube is a hobby for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can control 100% how much money I do or don't make in the excavating business. I have zero control over how much money I do or don't make in social media world.
Yeah.
I got multiple sources of income in the social media world now between sponsorships and different things, but all of it could go away tomorrow without my control.
Yep.
So that's why I continue to do what I do, because one, I need content, and two, I enjoy it, and three, I got control over it. So I'm never gonna quit excavating, I'm never gonna do this. I'm gonna keep YouTube as a hobby. Now, going a step forward to what I'm thinking you're trying to say is, it has to be fun and enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
I think people may show up on your video to watch you forestry mulch because they're looking to do forestry mulching.
Mm-hmm.
They keep coming back and watching video after video after video because they like you.
Okay.
So I feel like, you know, I said I'm not an actor, but we're the talent, we're the entertainment, we're the people, and no matter what we're doing that day, they want to see what we're up to.
Yeah.
So if they watch me for a while, or I'm pulling a boat out of the river, mulching a tree out, building a lake in, they get invested in you and what you're doing. So you got to build that relationship with them through a camera to where they're intrigued about what you got going on. There's a channel called Cowboy Car Crash, and I think he summed it up best in one comment he got. He said, I showed up for the car crash and I stayed with the cowboy. You know, and that's, I know you and I have no intentions of being in the entertainment business, nor do we intend to be in the entertainment business, but that's what keeps our audience engaged about what's going on. That's my thought on it. You're more welcome to speak on that.
No, I think where I was going is I just try to enlighten people on what like what we were talking about, when to mulch, when not to mulch,
Right.
you know, stuff like that. That's all I was going to say, really.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that too. You know, I always try to. One of the comments I used to get a lot of times is, you show up for a 3-hour job, you charge them a minimum, it's $1,000 just for generic.
Mm-hmm.
You're only here for 30 hours. Well, I try to show in my videos, listen, I got a truck to maintain, I got plates to play, I got insurance, I got a driver. I spent 2.5 hours trying to get loaded up just to get here.
Yeah.
Like, you may have only seen me on your job for 3 hours, but this job took me a day to get there. And they don't understand that. They don't see everything else I did. So if you can video that and kind of explain, here's what it takes to make this happen, then a lot of times they have no issue with it, you know, and that goes back to your point of kind of educating people a little bit. So, I mean, overall, would you rate your experience on social media, YouTube in particular, is a positive?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, I've met so many people, had so many opportunities, got to share with people. You know, I have a heart for mission work with my church. You know, trips to Alaska, California, stuff like that. That's just a couple of videos we've done, and that's really me. You know, I'm showing a part of who I am and what I like to do. But yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I've always said one of the things YouTube does better than anything else is it does a very good job of aligning like-minded people.
Yeah.
Because they know your watch history, they got a lot of data on you, and they know who other people match with you,
Yeah.
and who's in there. And I think that's how we've stumbled across each other. And some of my best friends today are guys that I've met on YouTube, whether they live close or far away or however you want to put it. YouTube does a really good job of that. And I never started my YouTube channel. It sounds like you didn't either, with the intentions of getting rich or famous. That was the farthest thing.
No.
Farthest thing from, and I'm still to this day neither one of those, just for the record. But I think that also helps the channels be successful, doing them for the right reasons, which is educating people, being proud of what you do. Your quality of work and your work and craftsmanship and so on and so forth.
We get a ton of work through YouTube. You know, people in our area that say, you know, like, hey, we've gotten other bids and we've seen your work and we want to use you because we feel like we know you.
Right.
You know, and we've seen what you can do and how you do it, how you work.
Right.
We want to hire you.
And you had no idea you're even making an impression on that person when you're doing that job. You're just doing what you do every day.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I've been very fortunate as well. We've had a lot of similar experiences. You know, I like to think we do a nice job, and the bid usually resembles that. But they know what they're going to expect when we show up.
Yeah.
And I like to think we don't disappoint on that because we treat everybody pretty much the same. But for me, I never did YouTube for advertising. It was just, I needed something to fill some time because I shut down a business and my crazy neighbor talked me into it. So advertising was like the last thing on my mind to get out of YouTube. But surprisingly, we had a guy one time was like in Arkansas, see one of my videos and just happened to own property right down the road from us. And
That's crazy.
and they ended up building a big old lake farm and did a bunch of work for him, and like he was perfectly fine doing it remote because he knew we were going to video it. He'd see it then. He knew the quality of work we were going to do.
That's awesome.
And then even locally, we get a lot of work through YouTube, which really surprises me because that was never my intention.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't mine either. It's just now that we have it, it's great, you know?
Yeah, well, and then me and Matt Parr were having this conversation the other day. You know, all these companies are going to digital marketing. That's one of the largest growing areas in marketing. And I mean, we kind of get that for free because we've created it for ourselves, which is crazy. Which is also a lot of get sponsorship deals. That's what it is. It's digital marketing. So, I ask everybody this, and I'm just kind of curious. So there's so much good that comes out of YouTube and social media, whether it be the opportunities, the people you meet, the products you get to test, like what we did today, etc. But there's always the negative, whether it be the comments or the drama or however you want to put it. So, what's your take on the not so pretty side of YouTube, whether it be comments or people calling you a sellout or however you look at it?
I really don't know of any negatives. Honestly, I mean, I'm not one thing that stands out. I feel like we had and I wouldn't say it was a bad experience with one of the sponsorships. I would call
my big sponsor. You go easy. Call them out. Say it.
Okay, we were sponsored through Ned Equipment, and which they are a Hyundai dealer. Mike actually hooked me up.
That's me. I'm guilty of the bad experience.
Yeah. So it wasn't a bad experience. It was a learning experience. I learned so much through that.
You called me one day and you were pretty distraught, and then you told me what they were asking you to do.
And that's not me. That was the thing.
Yeah. And what was my exact response to you? There ain't no way in hell I do that.
Yeah. So what they wanted was, say this about the machine. Every video I did pretty much had to be X, Y, and Z, and so much of the video, or so much of the excavator in the video. And if I didn't highlight the excavator, I would get basically a slap on the wrist, like, hey, what's going on? Why didn't you? We didn't hear this. We didn't hear net equipment enough. We didn't hear what the model of the machine was. And every day I'm not going to go in a video and be like, this is the, that's just not me. And I told the guy that I was working with, I said,
Corey.
Yeah, I told Corey, I said, that's not me. I said, you had the wrong guy. I told him, I should have told him after we had the machine. He says, no, we'll get through this. And it was putting, I wouldn't say, that was probably YouTube wasn't fun.
Right.
For me, and it took that away. It kind of took it away, and I was like, this isn't fun anymore. I don't want a video. Why is that?
Because it's not you, it's not your video,
Exactly.
It's not reality,
Yeah.
It's not organic.
Yeah.
It's worthless.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to jump in here and cut you off, but I just want to clarify a few things. So, you had a sponsorship opportunity with Hyundai in a partnership with a dealer.
Yes, correct.
My relationships with Hyundai are not dealer involved. They are directly with corporate. So a little bit of a different scenario. Now the dealer you're talking of is one of their larger dealers. And honestly, in a lot of ways, they're very good.
Oh, they're great.
Great organization.
Great company, yeah.
But what I want to highlight here a little bit, I'm going to transition into this. This is one of the questions I want to ask you is dealing with sponsors. I am very adamant and very anal about what I will and will not do. And whenever you tell me, basically in so many words, they want to put words in your mouth, I'm out.
Yeah.
You can fly a kite. And I'm not doing it. You're not paying me to say words. You're not paying me to put a penny in my mouth. You're not paying me to do any of that stuff. I don't care what you give me or what you want to do. I had another major manufacturer come to me that wanted to do that. I'm like, no, I'm not happening.
Yeah.
So what I would like, I'm just going to call him out, Corey, because I know Corey as well. Corey's a good guy. Corey has the best of intentions. Like Corey's doing what he thinks.
Doing his job.
He's doing his job.
Exactly.
He's doing his job. So I don't want to come across as like I'm bashing on Corey because I'm not. But whenever Corey requests all that stuff, he's not going to get what he wants in return because at that point the world knows you're a puppet.
And a lot of people call me out.
And you got slammed on your channel for it.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for you, and you were way nicer, Corey, than I would have been. Way nicer. If he come to me with those requests, I don't know if he would have got called back or a second chance. And you're a professional, I'm a professional. Neither one of us would ever took this stuff to YouTube or come out public with it. And I don't want to be completely down on Corey and Ned because they had the best of intentions. Like they weren't purposely trying to create this issue. What I want to do with this podcast is tell our side of the story.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do is tell the other side of the story.
Yeah.
I'll give another example is speed binders.
Okay.
Kind of similar to what you're talking about. There used to be a guy named Steve. He owns speed binders. He come to me. It was actually my very first sponsorship deal.
He emailed me.
The very first sponsorship deal with very first substantial sponsorship deal with Steve with speed binders, and I mean that kind of holds a special place. Right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm on the radar. Yada. And I got to be good friends with Steve. Steve was a great guy. He supported me. He supported the channel. He was open to ideas. He let me do whatever I wanted to do. Use my binders. Hey, here's some talking points. If they fit into what you're doing, great. Yada. Steve sells the company, Croslicker. And okay, sounds good. I'll work with these guys, right? And I'm like, hey, let's figure something out. Well, now it's got to be formal. It's got to be on paper. Okay, that's fine. So they send me a contract. I'm not going to go through all the details, but some of the things in there, they wanted 3 trucking videos a month. They wanted so many mentions, this, that, and the other. Listen, guys, I don't wake up in the morning and say, damn, I need a speed binder video. I'm going to go trucking today. No, I wake up in the morning and go do what needs to be done that day and I video it. You know what I mean? That's what happens. Hyundai, Volvo, they send me an excavator. They may sit for a week or two because I don't need them. I'm not going to go out and use them because I need them.
Yeah.
But whenever I do need them, I'll go use their excavator instead of mine.
Yeah.
And that's organically. I get, a guy the other day emailed me about using trailer lights. He wanted to give me trailer lights. So we make a video about it. I don't need trailer lights. I'm never going to make a video about trailer lights. No, thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm giving you the lights. I don't care. I don't need them. You know what I mean?
They work fine. They're good now.
I'm not, so I'm very, 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 very selective.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something that you want me to promote that I believe in, I will not promote anything I don't believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something like a speed binder.
Mm-hmm.
If I can go grab your binder instead of mine, because either way I'm using a binder that day, I'll do it. I'll be honest with you. When I first started using speed binders, I thought they were going to be a gimmick that I never use. 5 years later, I'm still using them. You know what I mean? And that's my relationship. My relationship with Hyundai is very open like that. Every time they send me a machine, they just tell me to be honest. You got to experience the case today. Obviously, this case thing did not go the way we wanted it to go. And as long as they're working on it and trying to figure it out, I have no problem with it whatsoever. I know you've had some other relationships. You're more welcome to share some stories. But again, if you're going to be on YouTube, some of these guys chase every single opportunity that comes through their email, and I don't think it's beneficial to them.
No.
People know when you're trying to sell, and people know when you're trying to be authentic.
Yeah. I mean, I had Fecon approach me. They said they watched me for over 2 years before they made the decision to sponsor us. And that was a huge sponsorship. You know, I mean, they dropped off, I think the first set of heads that we had, 3 different heads, over $100,000 worth of stuff that here you go, try it out, see what you think, give us your honest opinion about it. And Fecon's, we are not sponsored by them now, just due to their marketing strategies have changed.
And personnel.
And yes, one of the main guys that was with them who sought me out, he has left the company now. So, but yeah, even through Ventrac, they watched me for a long time, and both Ventrac and Fecon were like, I wouldn't hear from them for 3 months. Whenever they called me, I was like, oh no, I did something wrong. What did I do? Did I?
Going back to the video.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the mud hole.
The first one. Oh man, that was rough. So Jody, what are you doing? Come on, help me get the. Oh man. But I actually do have another possibility of another sponsorship coming up. It is another cutterhead company. I'm not quite sure who it is yet. We're going to be talking about it at ConExpo. I'm talking with them. When I was with Fecon, they approached me, and I couldn't do anything when I was with them. So it's a company that I've always been very interested in. It's a very good company, top 3, top 4, whatever, as far as cutterheads. So it's just found out this week. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, very exciting.
And I mean, from our side of stuff, we do get excited about it too. I mean, without my connections, let's face the facts. I've got a DL550, one of 4 in existence in my possession, which is insane. That never would have happened without YouTube and all the awesome people to watch. You probably won't see it until after this post, but I had a brand new Volvo 200. I've knocked the paint off more new excavators in the last year than I've had my whole entire life, which is just absolutely insane. But and I think you are as well. I'm very particular about who I align with. Hyundai, Volvo, and Case are my 3 big ones. Mm-hmm. They've all been a pleasure to work with. Hyundai and Case don't even require any. It's a handshake deal. They just trust me to be responsible and stuff. Volvo's a little bit different without going into too much details, but it's manageable. I have no issues with it whatsoever. Work with AMI and Work Brown. I work for competitors, right? So like AMI, Work Brown, both attachment companies. But I'm just 100% honest with both of them. The same way with Volvo calls them the H company. I'm just like this, guys. I'm not trying to play one against the other.
Yeah.
I just want to be open and honest about what I'm doing over here and what I'm doing over here.
Yeah.
I don't cross any information over that be proprietary to one or the other. Just try to be fair with everybody and do a good job, professional job to represent them, and still get my honest opinion on what it is, whether it be a power rake or AMI right now. They come down and pick my ruckus rake up and took it back when it's held hostage in Canada. They want to tear it down and re-engineer it. And,
But that's great though. That's awesome.
But, I don't, whenever I bought the ruckus rake, there's one main pin up there. I said, guys, I'll buy the rake. I'm concerned about this pin.
Yeah.
I said, I don't think it's heavy enough. I think it's going to be an issue. A year later, I sent them a picture of the rake broke completely into pins broke.
Yeah.
They tell me there, I bought it. You buy that and you have any problems, you let me know. Don't you worry, I will. So, rake broke completely into pins, send them a picture of it. We'll send it up here, we'll fix it. Well, I can get the job done. So I welded it up, patched it up, got it going. As soon as I did, they're like, as soon as you get the job done, you can do without it. I want you to send it up here. We're going to go through the whole rake. There's some other small stuff that I'd like to see tweaked, fixed, and figure it out. Everything's going to have problems. It's whether or not you're willing to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care what piece of equipment you buy, what brand it is, it's going to have an issue.
Yeah.
So are we willing to put a Band-Aid on it or fix it?
Yeah.
And that's my thing, and these guys are willing to fix it.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the case thing today, but I mean,
They're fixing it.
they're working on it. They're working on it.
Guys are calling, I think he was talking to two different
Engineers.
in two different states, wasn't he?
Yeah, and that's not just an engineer, that is the engineers.
Okay.
Those are the guys that built the machines from the ground up. They know better than anybody. And
Yeah.
I can't ask them more out of them.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't ask them more out of them. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of an insight into sponsorship deals. And I hope anybody, I like Corey. Corey's a good guy. I've dealt with the guys at Dad. I'm not giving them personally a hard time. I'm just trying to let them understand from our side. Like if you want somebody to read and recite specs and model numbers and stuff, then do it yourself and post it on your own channel.
Yeah.
That's not what we do on a daily basis. We get in the seat and go to work.
Yeah.
And hopefully the machine's not the storyline. That's our goal.
Yeah.
You say that, but it also, the video that helped me jump into YouTube, that pushed me,
Right, everybody's got the one video that
Yeah,
kind of took off.
yeah, and it was my ASV RT120. I did a walk around video of it. It was just a walk around video.
But nothing in that video was prompted by ASV.
No, it was my personal
It
opinion.
was you doing exactly.
Yep.
You talking, not.
Yep.
I don't care how good an actor you are. If ASV gave you a cue card and said you had to say certain things walking around that thing, I can pick them out
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
And people watching can too.
Yeah.
They know whenever you've been told to say something or you're
Yep.
told to mention something. And
Yeah.
I think the organic placement of those products in a video and just let the piece of equipment speak for itself, doing the job it's intended and engineered to do, is way more beneficial than anything we can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have this conversation with Volvo a little bit, and they want to take us up to Shippensburg, which is an amazing facility. But people want to see it on the job site in real life scenario, which is what they've started to do with Chris and I a little bit, and I think they'll see some huge benefits of that. I hope they do anyways. But everybody's got to test the waters and do stuff at their own rate, and everybody's got a different way to approach stuff, which is also what makes everybody interesting and different. So
Yeah. For sure.
I don't even know. Do you have a relationship with ASV?
They help me out with parts.
Okay.
So,
I know you've been very impressed with those machines.
yes,
From the mulching.
very impressed. As to this day, I've still not driven a machine that can compete with an ASV. As far as the cooling
We're
package,
working on it.
the cooling package, the ride, the flow. I had two RT120s at one time. I ended up selling one to, I think it 4.
John.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen,
Oh man.
I do you for Devin's his name, isn't it?
Yeah, Davin.
Davin. he does these parody videos. He used to do them around Christmas time. I actually texted him. I was telling him I was disappointed I didn't see one this year.
I wasn't.
I don't know. He's had Matt, you, Chris, Captain,
I think
Loggerway, me, and they're pretty funny.
They are.
They're pretty funny.
But he makes me sound like I'm some special, you know, like.
You guys gotta go watch the video, but every time, John.
That's all I say in the video, John. They're like, we know you're there.
And then they kept going to Chris, and he's like, oh, no. And he's like, I know, you're sponsored by Volvo. I get it. He's a cool dude. I've met him in person a handful of times.
Yeah.
He's got his YouTube channel that's pretty good as well.
Really good.
And he'll be in Vegas, but yeah, it was you were the star of the show and you weren't even there.
Oh man.
It was pretty good. So
I did have a 135 that I ended up selling, an ASVRT 135. I'm sure we'll get into this, but right after my guys all quit. So I ended up selling that due to didn't need it.
right, yeah, that's an expensive piece of equipment
Yeah.
to be sitting there just in case you need it. So, well, we kind of covered the YouTube realm there a little bit, and you kind of gave us a leader into it. So, being a small business owner, I always say that, or my joke is whenever you're self-employed, people assume two things: you're your own boss, you can work whenever you want, so you got all this time off, and you're automatically rich.
Oh man. I mean, I work a lot of hours and I'm not very rich.
Yeah. Sounds like your business is very similar to mine. So for you, I'm sure you guys know my past. You know, I started off in the excavating business, ended up in the custom home business, back in the excavating business now. At one time we had up to 20 employees, 15 employees, counting office help, and then I've managed big jobs, 300 plus employees. So I feel like I've kind of got a realm of the big, the medium, and the small. And being a small business, I've had some unbelievably awesome employees. I'm still good friends with a lot of them, a lot of good guys. But if they don't own the business, it's still not their business. Like nobody's going to do it the way you do it, or the way you think it needs to be done, or give it the attention you do from start to finish. Yada yada yada. It is. I've had the same struggle. I know you just recently lost two of your main guys.
I mean, they're still alive.
Well, and I mean, kind of like with the Corey and the Net thing. I mean, they moved on to other things. I mean, we encourage everybody to better themselves. I have guys that leave that I wish they would have stayed, but I understand they had other opportunities, they had other ambitions.
Yeah.
You only live once. You got to go do what you need to do, right?
Yeah.
But this conversation's coming from the business owner side of stuff. In the construction industry, we got into this vicious cycle of we'd hire some good guys. They'd stay with us for 2 or 3 years. You'd finally get them trained up to where they can go do stuff on their own, go run jobs, go do what they want to do. You'd have to babysit them, making you money. Now they're making you money, but keep in mind they're paying back the investment of time and mistakes you paid for them, which I'm happy to do.
Yeah.
And then either they get burnt out, they get another opportunity, or they want to change course. And about the time you got them where you want them to go.
Yeah.
And I can't compete with the big Fortune 500 companies with retirement benefits and all this stuff. I mean, my biggest counteraction to that is being flexible with schedules, get them access to equipment whenever they may possibly need it within reason, and so on and so forth. But it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, it's just a cycle. I think I saw it when I was in construction and building fences and stuff. As soon as you train one guy, he's like, oh, I can do this. He goes and gets a pickup truck and starts his own thing or whatever. But
yeah, it's and I guess in the construction world, carpentry world, you know, a guy with $500 or $1,000 worth of tools can go start a business and do something.
Yeah.
In my world, similar to your world, I guess you could get started off with $300,000 or $400,000, but if you want to do it right, you're getting $1 million investment right off the bat. So I'm kind of curious to your approach to this a little bit. You know, I spent 10 years revolving door of employees, and kind of the third or fourth turnover, I was like, listen, this is not working.
Yeah.
We're building high-end houses. We need high-end help, right? You can't build a high-end house without high-end people. And I felt like some of those would argue with me, but I feel like our pay was competitive. We had retirement, we had vacation, we just didn't have health insurance. We had company trucks. You know, I was doing everything I could to. There was a lot of years my top 4 or 5 guys made more money than I did. Trying to do everything I can to them. But at the end of the day, I had to have those guys to complete the job I did, or the job I promised.
Yeah.
And whenever I got back in the excavating business, I mean, I was like, listen, every job I take from here on out, I don't care if it takes me twice as long. I'm not taking a job I can't do myself if I had to.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very fortunate now to have the guys I do, which are kind of a part-time misfit gang. But technically, I am a one-man show. I mean, I know on paper and legally I am, but in real life, I got a good team behind me. But I still stay true to that. My excavating company could be 7 times the size it is right now. But bigger is not better. I refuse to go there. I've kind of been there, done that. And I want to stay in my comfort zone of where I want to be. And the very first thing somebody's going to comment is, well, what was all that revenue you're missing out on? I've been big. I'm making more money now than what I did going that route. So that's my synopsis of it. I would love to hear. I feel like you're in a different spot in the rotation than where I'm at. You're like maybe 2 steps behind me. But I feel like we're traveling the same path.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, I don't know what to say as far as how to get into this, but,
because you and I treat our employees very similar. They're more than employees, they're family.
exactly.
I mean, I fully understand whenever I take somebody on, I'm responsible for making sure their family's fed.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I do with my guys is, you know, like the competitive pay and, you know, always take care of them, see, make sure we had work and stuff like that. And what, sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
But one thing that I would do is I would take jobs to keep everybody busy. And I would sometimes not take, I don't know if I'm getting off track here, but I would take jobs to keep everybody busy, you know, keep payroll going, payments.
Fill-in jobs.
Fill-in jobs, yeah. And I built my business.
Just like today, if I had employees, I'd have them doing something random.
Yeah,
just to
shop work or,
right,
you know, something.
to keep them busy because the weather's crappy today.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to keep. You want to keep them 40 hours a week. You want to keep them
busy. Make sure they're getting paid. They're providing for their family. You know, exactly. But one of the things that I did with building my business, I knew, like, as I was buying vehicles or trucks or machines or whatever, in the back of my mind, I built my business to where if I had to, I could do it all myself. I probably wouldn't have told you that a couple years ago. It was just something I just kind of kept to myself. And like the semi that I have, if the economy gets so bad, brush cutting is not a need. Like right-of-ways and stuff like that, you know, it's a need.
But you don't have to have your backyard cleared out.
Exactly. So, you know, I have a truck and a trailer, I can go hot shot. I have a semi that I can go, I have a semi, I have a lowboy, I have a step deck trailer that I can move steel or logs, or I have all these things that I can do by myself if I ever had to. And I built the business with that in the back of my mind. And I never thought I'd come to the point where I didn't have employees. And now that I don't have employees, and don't get me wrong, I could hire somebody if I wanted to. I'm at that point where I want to kick back and see what's out there. Coast a little bit and just try to see. With my guys, I didn't fire them. It was just one of those things that I wanted them to be happy, and I wanted to be happy. you know, not my attitude and their attitudes weren't always the best. I'll confess that. I mean, we're human, you know.
I mean, that boss and employee relationship or even employee-employee relationship. I mean, sometimes we spend more time with these people than we do our spouses.
Yeah, our family.
Yeah, I mean, so it's,
You got to be able to get along with them.
right, you know, that's one thing me and Aaron talked about. I can't even come close to thinking Aaron what he makes bowl making. But we enjoy working together.
Yeah.
You know, and he's in a better mood, I'm in a better mood, and that's worth something, right?
Yeah.
There's a value
Absolutely.
there.
Yeah. Enjoy coming into work, having fun. And,
Right.
but, you know, that was just one of the things that I'm kind of struggling with words here, but, yeah, I wanted them to be happy, and I wanted to try something different. And then, you know.
Well, you know, you kind of alluded to the point where you could have employees now, but you want to kind of coast and
Yeah.
let the dust settle. I think we all get caught up in the rat race of trying to please every customer, take every job, make every penny.
There is a point where you have to do that business-wise.
Right.
Like early in business, you gotta take that terrible job, steep hill in.
But that's also what gets your name out there.
Exactly. But, you know, I mean, coming up on 10 years of cutting brush now.
You've proved yourself.
Yeah. And we built a reputation, and I can pull up on a job, pull in the driveway or wherever it is, and be like, I don't want to do this job. And either one, I can make myself out of it, or if I do get it, it'll be absolutely worth it.
Right.
And, or I can just say, I don't have time for this. This is not up my alley. Thank you for your time. And I go. And I've done that several times, you know. We used to cut a lot of retention ponds. There is good money to be made in retention ponds. But at the end of the day, if nobody's happy cutting a retention pond, because you're getting eaten up by mosquitoes, there's snakes, there's bees, you're getting stuck, you know. End of the day, everybody's dog tired and nobody's happy. It's like, what is the point of this? Why am I doing this? Forget it. Pass it along. You know, do what you enjoy and what makes you happy and your guys happy and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with that more. It's kind of why I went down the route I did. I don't want to say I didn't enjoy building houses, but it's not what I was passionate about. You know, operating equipment and turning wrenches in the shop, building stuff from scratch. That's what I enjoy doing. And we kind of split our seasons up. You know, January, February, we spent a lot of time in the shop. We built tile piles, we built them up with our Lieutenant Dan or whatever you want to. I know it's not done yet, sorry. But, you know, it keeps me from getting burnt out, but it's, you know, 5 years ago, whenever I made the change, that was my big thing is I am done chasing everything. I want to do what I enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since I woke up in the morning and not look forward to going to work. And then it's just a bonus being able to share it. I mean, you're proud of what you do, right? So that's what YouTube allows you to do is share it with people and show it off. Yeah, like, look what we accomplished, look what we tackled, or look how we solved this problem, or look what we did. And not in a conceited way, but it's you're proud of what you do. You know, if you did a good job, you should be, right?
Yeah.